Cześć, z tej strony Wojtek z portalu ścigacz.pl. Dzisiaj jesteśmy w wyjątkowym garażu wyjątkowego człowieka. Jest z nami Joseph, znany jako The Collection, który w końcu kupił motocykle i nareszcie miałem pretekst, żeby móc go odwiedzić i przeprowadzić z nim wywiad. Hello, Joseph.
Hi,
it's really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet your viewers. I've been living in Poland now for around 9 years or so. I've been in Warsaw 7 years now, Poznan for 2 years. And since I moved here, Poznan, I started a bit of a collection with my cars. And this is, I would say, what you said, this is what I'm known for, my car collection. I have quite a different mix, starting from the milionów to my Lancia Delta Integrales, to my GT3 RS, Lamborghinis, etc. And recently, I had a passion awoken again, and that is with the bikes. And so these are 2 new additions. They've been with me now for, I think it is about 3 weeks, 4 weeks maximum. And they're my 2 new babies. They really are, bringing me a lot of joy. I haven't been out on them much, but they are very different. They're the same, but very different.
Same, but...
Same, but different, exactly.
It's copyrighted, it's copyrighted. When I saw that you're buying the Ducati, I wrote to you, and you said that you used to have around 4 bikes. 2 of them were Ducatis. The Ducati has some special place in your heart, or
you know what? I started
it was just by accident?
No, it wasn't by accident. I started riding many years ago, and my first bike was a Ducati 400 SS, okay? Half-fairing bike, and that was my first introduction to motorbikes, and it was very special in the sense as in, a lot of friends asked me, why are you getting an Italian bike? Why don't you get like a Kawasaki or a Suzuki?
Yeah, they always ask about that.
Yeah, you know, people always ask why that particular choice, and I wanted to be a little bit different. And I remember an interesting story. When the bike arrived and I rode it, the bike for some reason never worked in the rain. It would never work. And I didn't know anything about
Welcome to Italy.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I thought all bikes never worked in the rain. I thought, oh, maybe that's why I don't see bikes out when it's raining, because they don't work. Little did I know it's because of Italian electrics. So that bike lasted for about 6 months or so, and then I upgraded to a Ducati 851, which was a beautiful racing bike, it really was. And then from there, I went to a Honda CBR 900 RR, which is the Fireblade. Beautiful bike. After that, I went to a Yamaha R1. So that was my real 1000cc, you know, powerful bike, etc. And that was beautiful. And then I went away for many years without having a bike up until when I moved to Warsaw.
Because you had a Vespa.
I had a Vespa. In Warsaw, I didn't have any cars. I only had a Vespa to get around. And I had that bike for about a year or so, I think it was. And I rode it during the summer, during the rain, during the winter. And I had a lot of fond memories with that bike. And then I moved from Warsaw to Poznan, as I said, started my car madness. And now I'm back to my beloved bikes.
So what was first, bikes or cars, or both?
I think as far as passion's concerned, it was always bikes, to be honest with you. But it was, as far as passion, it has always been bikes. And I've always had that in me. And I think if you're into your bikes, you never, ever lose it. And that's why, for me, to come back to bikes again is a natural progression. It's something I couldn't stay away from.
Mamy rok 1994. Silvio Berlusconi zostaje premierem Włoch po raz pierwszy. Włochy przegrywają z Brazylią 3-2 w finale Mistrzostw Świata, który zapewne wielu osobom spędził sens powiek przed telewizorami. Natomiast w Neapolu jest organizowany szczyt grupy G7 już po raz 20. W tym samym czasie z Bolonii wyjeżdża Ducati 916, które było budowane m.in. pod wodzą Massimo Tamburiniego w centrum badawczo-rozwojowym marki Cagiva. Motocykl, jak tylko się pojawił, tak szybko został nie tylko hitem sprzedażowym, ale zgarnął wszystkie możliwe tytuły motocykla roku. Dość powiedzieć, że egzemplarze całoroczna produkcja tak naprawdę na Stany Zjednoczone została wyprzedana, zanim jeszcze pierwsza 916 postawiła swoje koła na amerykańskiej ziemi. Motocykl, który widzicie przed nami, jest dość niezwykły, ponieważ na pierwszy rzut oka jest to po prostu Panigale V4S, natomiast jego detale świadczą o tym, że jest to specjalna wersja na 25-lecie modelu 916. Na tym motocyklu, na Ducati 916, również swoje triumfy święcili Troy Corser i Carl Fogarty, zdobywając razem 4 indywidualne tytuły Mistrza Świata World Superbike, a także 4 tytuły zespołowe. Co było ciekawe w tamtym motocyklu, to zastosowanie idącego pod ogonem układu wydechowego. Chociaż Ducati nie było tutaj pionierem, to trzeba oddać Hondzie, która zrobiła podobne rozwiązanie w swoim modelu NR750. Kolejną rzeczą był monowahacz, który nie tylko uczynił motocykl seksownym, ale przede wszystkim zapewniał łatwą i szybką zmianę kół wszędzie tam, gdzie liczył się czas, a wiadomo, że ten jest istotny w sportach motorowych. Przejdźmy teraz do roku 2019, kiedy to Ducati zaprezentowało specjalną wersję modelu V4S właśnie na 25. urodziny modelu 916. Ducati Panigale V4S samo w sobie jest fantastycznym motocyklem. Na pokładzie mamy silnik o mocy 214 koni mechanicznych, mamy zawieszenie All-in Smart EC, które pozwala zarówno na działanie w trybie półaktywnym, kiedy dostosowuje się do warunków panujących na drodze, do nawierzchni, ale jeżeli trzeba, to możecie je ustawiać dokładnie w taki sam sposób, w jaki regulowalibyście klasycznie manualne zawieszenie. Co wyróżnia ten egzemplarz? Na pierwszy rzut oka oczywiście malowanie. Malowanie, które nawiązuje do modelu 916, a konkretnie do tych egzemplarzy, na których Ducati święciło swoje triumfy. Oprócz tego mamy tutaj suche sprzęgło, które znane jest przede wszystkim z modelu V4R, natomiast jest dostępne oczywiście jako akcesorium. Mamy tytanowy wydech Akrapowicz, mamy także kute magnezowe felgi Marchesini, szereg dodatków marki Rizoma, a także jedną rzecz, której nie widać na pierwszy rzut oka, a mianowicie przednia część ramy pochodzi od Ducati Panigale V4R. Co ciekawe, producent nie zdecydował się jednak na zastosowanie owiewek z tego modelu, więc no, jak sami wiecie, na skrzydła V4S musieliśmy jeszcze chwilę poczekać. Egzemplarz, który tutaj widzicie, ma numer 472 z 500 wyprodukowanych. Gdzie motocykl będzie można spotkać? Oczywiście w Poznaniu, gdzie mieszka Józef, gdzie mieszka jego fantastyczna kolekcja pojazdów, także tego lata wypatrujcie Ducati Panigale V4S 25th Anniversary 916 na ulicach stolicy Wielkopolski. Okay, so we have those two beauties, and before we started recording, we talked about both of them. But could you tell our readers about the story with the Ducati?
Sure, no problem at all. This is Ducati 916 Panigale V4 25th Anniversario, which was made by Ducati to commemorate World Superbike champion rider Carl Fogarty. It's, as I said, one of 500, and I think this is bike number 472 of 500. Brand new. When I came across this bike, I just loved it. I saw it, and this was the thing that just started everything.
So you just saw it on the internet, and you were...
Because that's what I do. I spend a lot of time on Instagram and YouTube just looking at things and thinking, I might buy it. It's the worst place to shop, trust me. If you want to save money, stay off Instagram, stay off YouTube. And so, yeah, I saw this bike, I did a little bit of research about it, and I realized that the bike had actually been around for about a year and a half, 2 years, I think it was. 2019 it came out. And I contacted all the dealers, and everybody just laughed at me and said, no, forget it, forget it, you're too late. And then I made a call to Ducati head office, and they looked in the system. They said that one bike hadn't been allocated. It was with a dealer in the UK. I contacted him, and he said yes, he had the bike in his showroom. He was looking at it right at the moment when I spoke with him. And then he said, but unfortunately, it had a deposit on it. And I begged this guy, please let me have the bike. And then we kind of hit it off. And I think it was fate, because he said to me, okay, the guy was 1 week late in closing on the bike. So he said he was going to cancel the guy's order and he would give me the bike. And that's how I have this beautiful 916 25th Anniversario Panigale V4 sitting in my garage.
And the triumph, it's because you lived, like your company is based in UK and you lived there, or?
No, the triumph was because I was on Instagram.
Okay.
No, the triumph was because I was on Instagram again, and I saw this picture of a custom bobber. That's what this is. This is a Triumph Bobber Black. And after a little bit of research, I managed to locate the builder. And the builder is from the UK. Okay. And so I contacted him, and I saw bikes that he built for others. And I said, look, I want this bike, but I want it a little bit more special. But I don't want to wait, because I don't like waiting for things. And so, as I said, his bikes are based on a classic Triumph Bobber Black. But what he does is he changes a lot of parts with the Vance and Hind cans, fat tires, okay, and a lot of bespoke parts, including the seats, etc. And that's how I now have this here. But because I saw this before it was actually delivered, I decided to order a second bike. So before this was actually here, he then started sourcing the parts for the second bike. And the second bike is going to be, again, based on the Triumph Bobber Black. It's going to be very similar to this in style. The color scheme will be black and gold, but the very, very special thing is it will be the only Bobber Black, Triumph Bobber Black, with a single-sided swing arm. So it's going to kind of mirror the Ducati in the sense, as in, there will be, none of this will be here. It'll be just visible profile. And for me, that bike is very special, and it should be here in about 2 months. I should have it.
Wow, that's not a lot of waiting.
Yeah, but it's a lot for me, because I really don't like waiting for things. But you know, I think that if you want something that is very special, you have to wait. You can't rush.
Very pure. How much can you flip a basic sound? It's like.
Przede mną Triumph Bonneville Bobber, który został wykonany na zamówienie przez firmę Thornton 100 Motorcycles. Firma Thornton 100 Motorcycles specjalizuje się w przeróbkach motocykli marki Triumph i jest zlokalizowana niecałe 10 km od brytyjskiego toru Silverstone. To z kolei daje jej dostęp do firm, które zajmują się inżynierią, a przede wszystkim inżynierią motoryzacyjną, więc firma ta nie tylko zamawia u nich elementy do swoich pojazdów, ale przede wszystkim może czerpać z ich wiedzy, z ich doświadczenia i przekładać to na swoje produkty. Takim najciekawszym chyba procesem jest tworzenie niektórych części, ponieważ najpierw jest wykonywany wydruk 3D, później dopiero powstaje aluminiowy element, jeżeli okazuje się, że wszystko jest ok. Co więcej, firma Thornton 100 Motorcycles buduje swoje motocykle w taki sposób, że części, które tutaj widzicie, są zamontowane bez jakichkolwiek przeróbek fabrycznych punktów montażu. Motocykl zbudowany dla Josepha charakteryzuje przede wszystkim to, że ma szersze koła. Mamy tutaj felgi o średnicy 17 cali i szerokości 5 cali. Do tego zostało poszerzone przednie zawieszenie i tylne zawieszenie. Z przodu zastosowano szersze półki amortyzatora, co pozwoliło na opchnięcie szerokiego koła. Oprócz tego mamy tutaj także specjalnie zbudowane mocowanie błotnika. Błotnik jako taki został wykonany z włókna węglowego. Co mamy z tyłu? Z tyłu mamy przede wszystkim amortyzator marki Fox. Mamy kilka drobnych przeróbek w napędzie. Taką najbardziej rzucającą się w oczy jest łańcuch, który został pomalowany na czarno chemicznie i do tego ma złote spinki. Kolejną rzeczą, którą zrobiono w tym motocyklu, jest wydech, bo oczywiście żaden szanujący się customowy motocykl nie może się obyć bez głośnego wydechu. To, co mamy tutaj, to konstrukcja wykonana ze stali nierdzewnej, wykończona tłumikami Heinz. W motocyklu znajdziemy także bardzo wiele ciekawych drobiazgów wykonanych z aluminium, a mianowicie mamy specjalnie wykonaną nakrętkę korek zbiornika paliwa. Mamy także kierunkowskazy umieszczone w końcówkach kierownicy, to akurat pochodzi od firmy Motogadget. Mamy także zmodyfikowaną lampę tylną. Mamy również siedzenie. Tutaj także kilka rzeczy się zadziało. Po pierwsze, samo mocowanie siedzenia zostało nieco przesunięte do tyłu, żeby można było wygodniej tym motocyklem się przemieszczać. Oprócz tego siedzenie jako takie zostało pokryte alkantarą i przeszyte diamentowymi nićmi. Wisienką na szczycie tego kanapowego tortu jest plakietka pokryta 24-karatowym złotem. No i na tej plakietce oczywiście jest napisane The Collection. Zmierzając ku końcowi motocykla, mamy tutaj uchwyt na tablicę rejestracyjną z oświetleniem LED, wykonany z jednego kawałka aluminium. Tutaj też była dość ciekawa historia, ponieważ motocykl dotarł do Polski bez tego uchwytu. No i tak naprawdę został on zamontowany dzień przed tym, zanim kręciliśmy ten film, więc troszeczkę się obawialiśmy, czy motocykl powróci do garażu na czas. Well, for me you're also not the typical kind of collector, because you're not like Sultan of Brunei who is just buying 10 Porsches, every one in different color and not using them. You're just riding your bikes, you're driving your all of your cars, so you don't treat it as the investment, you're just enjoying it.
Do you know what? They are an investment, okay, but they're an investment into the quality of my life.
Okay.
Okay, and that for me is very, very important. I'm not one of these people that will spend a lot of money on my bikes or my cars and just have them as garage pieces.
Yeah, well, most of people do that.
No, you know what? I think the problem is that when people do that, okay, when people buy bikes or expensive cars, etc., they think about one thing, which is depreciation.
Yes.
They don't want to put too many kilometers on the bike
exactly.
or the car, etc., because they're already thinking about selling it. And my rationale is, I think about appreciation. And for me, appreciation only comes the more I use it. So the moment I have these things, I need to get as much use out of them to appreciate and to put more value in my life, than rather than saying, I have this, but I can't use it too much because I'm going to sell it. Then you don't fully enjoy what it is that you have. So I have a different view on things. Okay. It's very important for me.
Well, before, like, you blew one of my questions, because you said that you buy things when you see it on Instagram or on the internet, so it's spontaneous. That's the word I missed.
I'm very spontaneous. Yeah. If you ask anybody that is close to me, they will know that they will see me one evening, we'll have a dinner or something or other, then the next morning I've gone somewhere to buy something because I saw it on Instagram. And the thing is that when I have a desire for something, when I feel passionate about something, it's very important for me to acquire it. You know, I don't like to wait for things, as I've said before, because sometimes if you don't act on impulse, you lose the emotion. And when you lose the emotion, that desire that you initially had disappears. And for me, it's about...
Fire goes away.
It's about keeping that fire burning. You've got to keep it burning. That's why we live our lives, to make sure that we make the most out of every single day. And that's what I do. And you can only do that by keeping that fire constantly burning.
So I won't ask about your motorcycle plans for the future, because they are because
a lot more coming.
the situation is changing pretty fast. But do you have any motorcycle dreams, like the bikes which you would love to have, but somehow, I don't know, you can't, you don't want to buy them now? Or
no, I wouldn't say that I have any dreams which are beyond me. I would say that each bike that I put my mind to, the Ducati, the Triumph, the next bike, etc., that is my dream. And so I have another bike coming. I have a couple of bikes coming, but the next bike which I'm working on now, that is my dream. That's my real dream, because it's kind of connected.
This is the top secret one.
It is a top secret one, but I can share some information. I can share a little bit of information, because that bike is very connected to both worlds. Okay, it's very connected, and I feel very lucky because I will have a one-of-one bike made for me by a very well-known Italian, MV Augusta, Italian manufacturer, and that's going to be an incredible project. And so that is my dream bike right now. To have that here, that's my dream.
That's your dream. And before we started recording, like the day before, I saw that you got from the local Harley-Davidson dealer the electric bike. And well, you're the person who is flying up high and have fuel in your veins, and now you have the electric bikes. But this is cool because
I'm not a sellout, trust me.
But yeah, what's your take on that?
Okay, the story behind that, let's just give some context here to your viewers. The story behind that is because when this bike arrived from the UK, it was missing this arm here to hold the number plate. Okay? So they sent it over, but I'm useless with my hands. I really am. And so I contacted one of my followers who I know works with Harley Davidson here, and she arranged for them to come and collect my bike and fix it. And she said, look, why don't you have a bike from us? And I asked her if they have any demos, like, you know, like a V-Rod or something. And she said, and that's what I know V-Rod. So I thought, you know, they're going to give me a V-Rod or something. And she said, well, we have this. And I was like, what is it? And she said, it's an electric bike. And I said to her, no, forget it. I don't want anything. And then she said, no, try it, Joseph. It's very nice. So they brought me the bike. I think it's called the Live Wire or Live Wire, Harley Davidson Live Wire. And I went out on it yesterday. I still have the bike here. I've got it for a few days. And what I will say is that it's very different. Okay. I understand why Harley have made it, okay, because especially now if you look at the way the world is going with pollution, etc., and I'm not a good one to speak on this, that bike serves a real purpose.
Okay.
And for me, that purpose is in a sense as in, if you want a bike that is a city bike, jump on, is environmentally friendly, then that is that bike. It is very fast, it's very, very easy to ride, and it's just, I think, something which many people would maybe go towards then instead of having something like this, you know. But is it a true Harley Davidson? I don't know. What is a true Harley Davidson? You know, I think it's maybe an evolution of Harley Davidson, and that's where things are happening right now. Yeah.
So, what's your take on the electric future? Like,
I think as with cars, because even these are a dying breed, okay? As far as I'm concerned, what you see here is a dinosaur. Yeah. Because this is becoming one. 100%. This is the last V12 engine that Lamborghini will ever make. From now on, their cars will be hybrid until they go to full electric. Unfortunately, whether you're a fan of electric cars or not, electric bikes or not, it's going to be the same thing in a sense that I think that more and more manufacturers are going to start making electric vehicles, and that is going to pose a bit of a challenge for manufacturers and the audience that they have. So I think that is the challenge that a lot of manufacturers are going to face, how to make that crossover from conventional engines to hybrid stroke.
Because it's hard to imagine that this bike may have the electric engine instead of the V4 with the dry clutch, which is just sick.
It wouldn't be a Ducati.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It wouldn't be a Ducati. But, you know, times have to change and we have to change as well. So let's see what the future holds.
Okay, so maybe in the future we will have the electricity instead of instead of fuel.
I think if we look at the consumption of a bike in comparison to the consumption of a V12 engine, the carbon footprint is much less, okay? But I think that there will come a time, as far as efficiency is concerned, when manufacturers will start looking heavily to make the transition from conventional engines from conventional combustion engines to the electric.
I know that you rode both of those bikes. maybe not much, but what are your first thoughts on the Ducati and the Triumph?
Okay, my first thoughts on the Ducati, I took the bike out, I think it was 2 days ago, just for a little run around town. The bike has maybe 2 kilometers on the clock, literally. It's a monster. It's an absolute beast. It doesn't belong on the road. It belongs firmly on the racetrack. What Ducati have built, created, is phenomenal. It's truly phenomenal. If you look at the rider assist with regards to the electronic suspension settings, etc.,
You can feel like the world champion.
you feel like you are Carl Fogarty.
Yes.
You know, that's what you do. You feel that you are on the grid and you are about to bring in first place on the championship podium. It is incredible. For me, I think, because I love bikes, but I'll be the first to say, I'm not a great rider. You know, I love cars, I'm not a great driver. But where I have appreciation on is styling. And that's where I think Ducati, it's just, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. So this bike, before I actually rode it 2 days ago, well, actually both of them, they were up in my apartment. And so I actually had both bikes up in my apartment, and I was going to have them strictly as works of art. I wasn't going to ride them, but then I felt that, you know what, these things have to be ridden.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to that appreciation that I spoke of. You have to ride these things. So the brief afternoon that I spent on this was incredible. I will take this out. The moment the weather goes out, it gets better, I will take that out again. Fantastic. The Triumph, a much more easier to ride bike. The riding position is far rider friendly. This bike is about emotion, because the noise that comes out of the Vance and Hines pipes is just glorious. It really is. You feel like an easy rider on this bike. You really do. I love this.
Or Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen, exactly. This is very comfortable. It has a lot of power. And it's a great cruiser. It really is. And I think for me, this is going to be more than daily, I think, hop on. Yeah, it's a great bike. It really is. Very stable. And like I said before, a lot of power.
You said that you were watching the Carl Fogarty racing.
Yeah, when I was younger.
And what about now? Are you watching these?
Now I wouldn't say, no, I'm not really into the championship sports anymore, even with F1 as well. Unfortunately, my lifestyle is to the degree whereby I don't really have a lot of time, a lot of leisure time, let's just say that, because I'm always doing something. But for me to have this bike connects me with my youth, also connects me with Carl Fogarty, and that is...
So it's not just seeing it on the Instagram?
No, because I had that relationship with my previous bikes before, you know, so it's nice that it's come around full circle. And again, I have a bike, I have 2 bikes here, and again, I can almost relive my youth again. That for me is very important. And again, it all comes back to increasing the quality of the life that I have now.
So, do you have any advices for our readers who would like to have their dream bikes?
I think the advice that I would give to your readers and viewers is not just about dream bikes, it's about the dream life, okay? And the advice I would say is stay focused. Stay focused. You know, the problem that we have is that in our lives, we know what it is that we want in so many different respects, but we listen to other voices that kind of throw us off our path. And when that happens, our dreams, our goals disappear, because then we start thinking that maybe we should be living somebody else's life because they said that's what we should do. So I would say your readers, your viewers, they must stay focused, listen to themselves, because nobody knows themselves better than they know themselves, and ultimately believe in themselves. Those key ingredients, ultimately, you will live the life and you will have the things in your life that you want. It's very important.
And I think this is the good way to end our...
It's been a pleasure.
Our meeting. It was very nice to meet you. And again, I'm really happy that you're into bikes, because I've been waiting for so long for that to happen.
I am.
No i cóż, jeśli jesteście w Poznaniu, to tego lata z pewnością zobaczycie te dwie piękności i jeszcze kilka innych na ulicach miasta, a my tymczasem żegnamy się. Pamiętajcie, żeby śledzić The Collection w serwisie Instagram, gdzie możecie zobaczyć nie tylko piękne samochody, ale również bardzo dużo dobrej motywacji, dobrej energii, która z pewnością pomoże Wam w osiągnięciu Waszych motocyklowych marzeń. Joseph, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
It's been a pleasure
Honestly,
for
my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you indeed. Take care.
I know you're gonna dig this.
There is no competition. There is no competition.
You can't beat the bastard. You can't beat the bastard. You better ask somebody.